And that means we in Europe need to already start looking ahead and thinking ahead about how we are going to win the war against Africa, because there will be a future war between Europe and Africa.
Now, Africans, I hope you heard and understood what he just said. This nihilistic narcissist, haunted by demons and delusions, says, quote and unquote, there will be a future war between Europe and Africa. Listen again.
There will be a future war between Europe and Africa.
You heard him, right? Okay. While your Africans fight one another over jollof rice, generator, AFCON, and Amapiano, some Dutch dimwit is preparing the minds of his people for a potential war against all of you, irrespective of your jollof rice, irrespective of your electricity, irrespective of your Afrobeat. Now, have you ever paused for a minute to even ponder the reason for this clarion call for a potential European war against Africa? Do you know why the West is so afraid of Africa in the next 10 years? Why they are so afraid? No, but let me tell you. It's because some African youths, I'm one of them, we are already waking up and breaking free from the mental shackles of the West. So while you sit there behind your keyboards, while you sit there behind your phone screens to impishly type damaging, derogating, vituperative, and invective things about your fellow African brothers and sisters and their countries, while you fight one another over whose jollof rice is the best, or who has the best football team in this AFCON, electricity supply, or the best English accent. Like, seriously? English accent, a colonizer's language. Now, while you bash and drag other Africans who are also victims of the same system you are a victim of, but probably because you are more of a house Negro. Now, some Europeans are already planning for a war against Africa, against you, all of you. Shame on you. Not a war against Ghana, not a war against Nigeria or South Africa or Cameroon or Kenya, but against Africa. And all you do is fight one another. And you keep wondering how Africa was defeated and subjugated. How did they do it? Why did our forefathers blah, 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 blah? You keep wondering how it is possible that the West, so completely duplicitous and unworthy, how they have ruled the world for thousands of years. This is exactly the reason. What you are doing is exactly the reason. It's because all of you put your energy into counting the stars while the moon passes you by. Shame on all of you. Shame on you, Nigerians. Shame on you, Cameroonians, Ghanaians, South Africans, all of you fighting one another like dogs fighting their own kinds over their human masters. Have you seen dogs? You see the way they fight one another when they see, because they are with their masters. You keep barking incessantly at one another like stray dogs and keep washing all your dirty linens outside while you sleep, while you fight. They are preparing war against you. Now, I have always said this, and I will say it for the umpteenth time. Our common enemy, doesn't care about the geographical and political borders that separate an Akan in Ghana from a Diola in Ivory Coast. They don't care. Or an Edo in Nigeria from a Bassa, Bamileke, or Bakundu in Cameroon. They don't care. Our common enemy doesn't care which African country has the best electricity supply. Our common enemy doesn't care which African country has the best pepper, Cameroon pepper, or jollof rice, or amapiano. They only care to see us disunited, weak and susceptible to conquer. And that is what we are doing. And we are here making it easy for them. Now, I know some of us would say he's just one man. Why worry over something that one man said? You see, that is the mentality. When a colonizer oversteps boundaries, you are tolerant. But when an African does less, you bash him, you drag him, you wash him, you drag the entire country. That is the level of self-hate in your heart. Now, this lunatic, this guy who calls himself the Great Johannes, started very small. I remember I reacted to one of his videos back in December, and then he had just a few thousand followers. His followers then, they were still less than 10K. But today he has garnered over 46,000 followers with the same hate content against melanated people in Africa. He's gathering people. You see, this is why we should take any anti-African agenda seriously. Let's hear why he said the Europeans should be preparing for a war against Africa. Let's listen to him.
It is of